Brilliant. Thank you for that. And thank you for everyone who's joining us. I would like to welcome everybody. This is going to be a little bit of a presentation. Bear with me. It only goes for about 25 minutes, but it shows you exactly what RoboReception Elite is doing. This is our new branding, our new logo. So what are we? We are the #1 complete operating system for dentists. So it's not about the chatbot or a LeadTracker. It's not about reception. It's the whole thing, so we can give you the whole support throughout the process of running and building a dental practice. So RoboReception, it's certainly growing. This is us here. This is a few of our main managers, and we are working together with experts, and we do have your back. There's Donna and I at the top. We're both equal directors, and then we've obviously got GDPR experts. We've got lawyers. We've got there's a whole management team, and it's growing. So today we've taken on another 3 managers because we've had so many requests for so many areas in the UK, and yeah, it's great. Things are really going well. We're really pleased and privileged that we're in the situation that we are a growing team. So what are we seeing in practice? We're going to discuss a little bit about that. How can the Elite Group help you? We're going to talk a couple of things about some case studies that we're doing, showing you how to get started, obviously the pricing, which is super important, savings and options, and what makes us the #1 choice. So this is what we're seeing just now. Basically, patients, receptionists, and the business. So patients just now, if they are having blocked access. So in other words, there are the patients can't get through. We've got 50,000 calls that we've taken over the last 12 months, and we've got 400 practices, and we've found that half of the patients can't get through to speak to someone. There's long waits, so patients will go elsewhere, and the satisfaction obviously drops, and they can leave poor Google reviews, which we see quite regularly. And obviously there is competition pressure. Patients shop around for high-end treatments. Even though you're providing these treatments, they could be shopping elsewhere, which is what I used to suffer from when I started my practice. Obviously, with the receptionists, they get they get burnt out. They can't cope, and when they get burnt out and can't cope, they obviously have a greater staff turnover. So 68% leave due to stress, and that's the problem. Just now, we've got receptionists that come along, they do the low value tasks, they leave, and they're not doing the high end stuff that I always wanted staff to do. So what happens is when they come along and do the low end stuff, I wanted them to nurture patients, speak to patients, and not necessarily just be chasing patients all the time. And that makes it an overall better quality of service. And obviously they remain untrained. I remember the days whereby people would just leave the practice, new ones would come along, and it'd be a case of, oh, bloody hell, we're going to have to train again. So a lot of the staff with mine remained untrained. And obviously that led to a poor return on investment, business blind spots with wasted investment. I'd put loads of money into marketing and I wouldn't get it back. And so, if you put some practices are putting 10,000 a month into marketing, but if you improve the whole system by 50%, you could halve that amount of marketing spend that you put in. And obviously there's errors, loss of goodwill, potential goodwill value, and obviously the inability to diagnose issues. I was probably making knee-jerk reactions through the whole of my career into the last 5 to 10 years. And I wish I could go back because I could have saved so much money, and that's hence where we came along. I know someone's just joined us. There's a few joining us. So we are recording this, so we can obviously send this to you. I can't actually see who's here, so my apologies. I'm just whittling away. But if you've got any questions, we can either do it at the end or interrupt me. So basically, we've Robo Elite Group, it's a complete operational system, and it's all automated, and it uses artificial intelligence, and it's for dentists. We're doing GP surgeries, and we're now moving into medical professionals like vets and now physios and osteopaths even. So what do? We do everything. We'll provide a system that fields inquiries using an AI receptionist. We've got a chatbot that sits on your website. We've got a CRM LeadTracker, or the funnel that people talk about. And obviously we'll Google review boost. We'll increase your number of Google reviews. And that's so important. We don't go anywhere without or buy anything without looking at reviews. So sometimes I think it's a forgotten skill that dentists do, but it's all automated and all included in what we offer. And with the ability to press a button and have a bird's eye view of the business. So now, even though it's not my business, because Portman bought my practices, I can press a button and I can see exactly what's going on. How many new patients have arrived? How many have been actioned? How many have been missed? And And the most crucial that we miss out on is the percentage of reception conversion rate. So we have the database of 5 to 600 now practices that we can go, this is what on average your receptionist should be converting patients from lead to ending up in your chair. After that is the dentist problem, which we can also show you how to get a percentage from that. But for me, for us, for RoboReception at the Elite Group, we will show you what the average number is, what you're doing really well, and what needs improved. So I've got a number of practices that I looked at today, and some of them was down to as little as 15%. 15% of reception conversion rate. Now, if it's down to that low, that's quite serious. It should be really up between 50 to 60%. And there's ways that we'll be able to show you and support you in getting there. So we do provide everything. It is the full service, and we do certainly have your back. So what's happening if there's no operational systems? We know there's a lack of control. There is a drop in income. Feel helpless. Feel you're failing. Stress, and dentistry is no longer fun. And I'm not patronising people here. I've been there. I made these slides by the experiences that I've experienced during the nearly 30 years in practice. So I know exactly how it feels. I know that if someone comes along like Donna and I'll be thinking, where do I start? My receptionist is so moody. I remember the days that I would worry about going into reception and asking them to pick up the phone within 3 rings, and they'd be moody and wouldn't speak to me for 2 weeks. I have no money. I didn't have any money to invest in anything. I was tied to existing contracts, and I'd heard it all before. And everyone is reluctant to change, and I was reluctant to change. And I think the biggest thing for me, I just didn't want any disruption. I'd had enough of disruption, and that was probably one of the biggest things that the sort of things that I didn't want to change and put me in the way of change. But look, just to reassure you, this was me, and we also see this every day when we speak to people, and that is why basically we created the Robo Elite Group. So what do we offer you? We give you an AI receptionist. That's 30 calls, and that can be 24/7. You can turn it on, you can turn it off. We will warn you when you're getting up to 30 calls. So we'll warn you at 25 and we'll warn you at 30. You can either turn it off or you can keep it on. And then that is the only area where there will be charges on top of that. We can advise you what they are. But look, use it as an excuse to get your team to answer a greater than missed 30 calls a month. You can do that, and that's what a lot of our practices are doing. We give you a chat bot, which isn't just a normal chat bot. It will give you SEO reports. We're just about to give a free upgrade to everybody who has our chat bots. It will tell you monthly who visited your website, how long they were on for. It will give you bounce rates. It will show you which pages were visited, what time, where. I mean, it really is more than just a chat bot. So it's all the things that I wanted at a dental practice. We'll give you a CRM LeadTracker. Again, there is SMS capability, so you can text from it, you can email from it. It's fully automated. It's automatic emails. There is also a Google review boost system within the LeadTracker, so it's not just a run-of-the-mill LeadTracker. We've also got a traffic light system, green, amber, red, so you can see how quickly your leads are being answered at the touch of a button. So like I said, at home, get your app on your mobile, put it in, are your leads being answered? And so there's just small things to help you increase your turnover. We will also give you full support and free upgrades. That goes without saying. With training, you'll have monthly Zoom meetings that I'll be taking personally, and that'll be for you and all your teams. So the first one in August will be how to build landing pages, how to do your own SEO, and then it'll be things like 5-star hotel experiences. So I'll be showing you how to train your staff to make sure they give a good customer experience. As well as that, you're a member of a WhatsApp group, but that'll be just for principals and myself and Donna. For the reasons for that, we'll be saying, look, your team have dropped down a bit. Why don't you try this? So it'll be a constant support, and you'll have your own manager as well as Donna and I to be able to talk to. And then I'll also, within the Zooms, be giving you free marketing tips and tricks that I give on my course. And my usual course fees are £995 a day. So we are giving them away on the Zoom calls. So that is the entire package that we'll be providing. And all that we'll be charging £249 plus VAT per month. So steps to an efficiency. There's no systems, you've got no control, you do knee-jerk reactions, and you do limited growth. And that was me. That was clearly me as I started setting up dental practices. And how Robo Elite overcomes the inefficiencies. We'll answer all your inquiries, we'll nurture your inquiries, and we'll provide accountability and staff training. So we will show you where it's going wrong, and then obviously that will support grow and give growth. And that's how what I've seen. And I managed to do this, and this isn't my practice anymore. So Portman own the practice, but they allow me to be able to provide this, and it isn't rocket science. And you know you do a few small changes, and you can save yourself a fortune. So a customer case study, the White House Dental Group in Exeter, there's about 6,000 patients, 300 per day call volume, and rural Exeter is the location. And you know there was short staff, sickness, call volume, new patients not being answered, limited ability to prioritize emergency and new patients. It's the problem that everybody has. And the patient demographics, private patients with an emphasis on dental implants and Invisalign, and that's about 150 new inquiries a month. And this is what we got. You know, I don't need to read it out. The manager was so impressed that now we are about to launch 20 new Portman practices, and two more in Devon. So we've got some around London area, 20 around the London area, and one or two around the Devon area as well. So they can see, you know, that the simplicity of what we provide. It's not a complicated system. We haven't just added on a lot of systems are put under pressure because they bring on a new dentist and they want this, they want that, but we're like, keep it simple. You don't need to overcomplicate a system. You can have it as complicated as you want personally, but not rolling it out and ends up like a few of our competitors. It just gets so complicated. This needs limited training. And so there's a couple of, as you know, I don't know whether any of you saw it online. That was our Google reviews. I do have to manage expectations here. This was 40 reviews, Ahmed's, to 400 within about 3 or 4 weeks. This was just to show it works. But what we say is you drip feed patients. You don't necessarily blast them all at once. So it does work. And there's other reviews, you know, like we said, we've got 400 to 500 practices who are happy with what we do. And this new system, because there's so many extras put in, at a super rate. That's why we're inundated. These are our trusted partners, as you know, Portman Dentex, Focus Group. So that if you want a new phone system, they are really, really good. That we don't receive anything for any of these referrals. And we are fully integrated with Dentally. We do have one or two PMSs that we don't want to work with, but you know we know there are others we really are wanting to work with and get a good partnership with, and Dentally is one of them that we're now full partners with, which is brilliant and fully integrated. So it's an AI receptionist. You get the chatbot, you get the LeadTracker, you get the Google Reviews boost, you get full support management training and backup, you get Zoom staff training and support. There's a WhatsApp group for membership for principals only, that one. And obviously you get the free upgrades. And like we said, the investment is £249 plus VAT per month. And it's do you know what? It's the AI is all about controlling the flow. So I'll just play this briefly, so I don't want to waste too much of your time. So a lot of AIs are made too human. That will freak patients out. We can go very human, but ours is slightly robotic, so they know exactly who they are, that they are actually talking to an AI. But we can control it, so we can. And this is here. This is the R. Actually, Donna's changing all the flows here, so we can actually, we can talk about your practice. We can talk about parking, opening times, how in pain the patient is. So, I've used my dental knowledge. So if they come along and say they're in pain, we ask, are they bleeding? Are they swelling? Did they have trauma? All the stuff that we should be asking, the AI can ask. So you can leave it overnight. You can leave it at the weekends. So it's a good system. Good system. Let's see. I will come out of here and go to the next slide. So basically, AI is about controlling the information. You do not want it superhuman, and you don't want to just attach it to Chat GPT. You don't want it going off-piste and answering for you. That's the difference between our system and the other systems that are coming out on the market. We control the flow, and like I said, GDPR-wise, you have to control the flow. That is the most important part of it. So, incoming call. AI answers, follows a scripted workflow, like we said, control the flow. AI determines the patient's needs and intent. The patient information is collected, and the call information is then sent to the practice. It can also send booking links. It can send website links for payments. It can do anything that you basically want it to do and control it to do. And so up to 30 is free, and then you get surcharges. Look, if you're going up to missing 550 calls, that's not great. And we'll be saying, you need to do something. That's almost a half a member of staff, albeit it can take those amount on if you want to. You can turn it on if you've got sickness and you won't miss any calls. So you can use it when you want to, but we do warn you that, look, keep it under 30. Do what a few dentists are doing already and make it a challenge for the staff and say, we'll give you a bottle of wine if you make it under 30 calls. And this is the bot. Basic chat bots are all pretty similar. Ours is different because it sends you the SEO reports. It will send you about the people who visited your site. It will show you what's working for you and what isn't. And that's the difference between our chatbot and some of our competitors. And so basically that's it. We are upgrading it. The funny thing is I made these colors. They're not the most attractive of colors, but the reason why I made those colors was because it's like Facebook, and Facebook have spent billions in advertising, and I thought I'm gonna give it a go. And whilst it's ugly, it certainly gets a lot of customers, but we are also prettying it up because I thought it was a bit bold for my liking, even though it's effective. So we've done all the tests. So even though our upgrade we've tested and it's worked out just as efficient, but it's a little bit prettier, I think, in my opinion. So this is the LeadTracker, sorry. All of the patients going in the left side. And if you notice the green cards, that means they've just landed. So you can keep an eye on it. If the patients haven't been actioned, it then goes to orange and then it goes to red. So you can be going in the morning going, look, these patients need answered. Why is there reds? Why are there reds? Why are there reds in there? They need to be answered within 15 minutes, half an hour, whatever you want to put on, and that's the most important thing. You can set the timescales at which you need to be answering the patients. You can go into these cards, and in the cards you can do automated emails. You can do SMS. You can actually text people within this area. If you want to have a chat, remind them of appointments. But we can set the automated emails you actually do within the card. So rather than wasting your time, we can train you on all. It is a basic system. We keep it like that, and we make sure that all your staff can use it, because it doesn't really matter. You don't want it complicated. You want it nice and easy. New inquiries come in, call made once, call made twice, however you want to do it, SMS or email, consultation booked, treatment started. You need to keep it simple. There's almost a need to complicate things in our profession, but I've kept it super simple, and I know how to change it and edit this board myself, and I still have it super simple, and that's how I managed to keep the gross up, and have done over the last 24 months. Is everything all right, Donna? Everything all right still?
Yeah, all good.
All good. So basically, the stats can be as complicated as you want it to be. This is the board that I look at, and the biggest thing that I look at is basically up there where it says 31% consultation booked from new inquiry. It really should be up between 50 and 60%. But like I said, we are taking on practices. We look a month later and it's down at 10%, 15, 16, 17, 18%. That's too low. And they're wanting to put 10 grand into marketing. I'm just like, slow down. Let's get the phones answered. Let's get patients booked in and get that number up before you even consider putting any money into it. And that's what I look at. You can go crazy, but this is blinding for me. I don't want to look at this. It just would keep me awake at night. It depends if you want to be stats crazy. So I don't think I've ever even looked at that page, but it's there. And if you want to know why they're not booking in, again, you can go as deep as you want into the stats, but it's there if you want it. I certainly don't bother. And at the end, obviously, you've got RoboReception reviews. You just put the card in, and automatically patients then get email, drip-fed emails. Green, they're happy, goes to a Google review. Orange, not so happy, goes to the manager. Red, really not happy, goes to the manager as well. But don't forget, you have to be able to always offer patients the ability to be able to go to a Google review even if unhappy. So we do give that option, but it's discreet, but it still follows Google regulations. So because of being a dentist, I'm super hot up on GDPR, Google regulations. I don't want anyone to get into trouble. So it has to give the ability, but we have never, ever had anyone going straight to Google. They usually, because it's more defined as orange and red, they'll go to that, and then you can sort the problem out. So Zoom meetings and WhatsApp group memberships, this is what I've been saying. Those Zoom meetings will be aimed towards the team. The WhatsApp group, that'll be between us and the principals. That won't be for employees, because there could be some more difficult conversations to be had. You will be one dentist, one area. For if you're a rural, it's 5 miles. It's 1 mile in an urban with exclusion requests and zero point 0.5 miles in London, again with exclusion requests. So you can knock out 2 dentists if you want to outside your area if you are the first people to sign. There we go. Any questions? I'll stop sharing